So the rules of the game of this interview are, the interview will last as long as this game lasts.
Okay.
So if you want to tell us your deepest, most intimate, interesting professional secrets, then you have to make sure you are, you put up some good competition.
Okay.
And the focus part comes in, or the pressure tactic comes in, when it's my turn. I have to formulate my questions in the time that I have, and I will try and nudge you along so that you play your turn.
Okay.
I have to ask you a question, so it's my first one.
Okay.
So, Saba.
Pick the easy one.
Yeah. How difficult was it to set up AuratRaaj?
I think it was easy at first because I didn't know how big the scope of the project would become. So at that time it was very easy. I think 3 months into it, I realized that I had just basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So
TikTok.
When things got really serious, that's when I realized that I had just set up myself for something much larger than myself, and I needed a larger team for it, and I wasn't sure that I'd be able to do it. So it took some time, but yeah.
Okay, so why did you choose a web-based platform, or why did you choose to develop a chatbot in the form of Raji? I mean, what was the journey like so that it led you to that process?
So we had already been doing a lot of articles, a lot of videos, campaigning and doing advocacy, but there was something that was lacking, was that we couldn't create the big impact that we had thought. And for us to do that, and for us to handle as many requests that were coming anonymously to us, we had to have some sort of application or a format that would allow one-on-one interaction with each of the people that we were trying to help. And so the idea for Raji came about. And also we had to because a content platform is very rigid, and we wanted some flexibility with the kind of answers that we were giving and the kind of content we were building, and we wanted to do it fast. That's why we did it.
So the route from a user perspective, so I log on to AuratRaaj.com. I see the chatbot. Do I have to register myself? What's the process?
All the content is free for our users. All the information that you're finding is for free. We're building this in collaboration with a lot of different NGOs, a lot of experts on the topic. For instance, harassment is a topic that has many different directions. It has a medical aspect, it has a legal aspect. For that, we have to build the right content, and for us to do that...
you can't hold it.
For us to do that, we require the expertise of multiple people, and we're partnering with them and making the content available to the user for free so that they have the help that they need whenever they want, and do it anonymously.
Okay. So what kind of an audience do you foresee coming to the chatbot?
So I did some research while I was working on this.
Market research?
Yes, I had to. And I started looking at all the Facebook secret groups that were happening, and these were women who were part of these groups who were urban. They had access to smartphones, yet they still couldn't find the right information, and they would rather find it from somebody who they trusted. And so we came about, and we just basically used that research to kind of get our chatbot started. We used some of the user intents that we found on these secret groups on the bot.
Okay, just a step back. Why the name Raji?
So Raji is actually a very common name in Thar, and we also supplemented or had an animated episode to go along with our chatbot. And for that, we placed her in one of the most difficult situations and had a story behind her that was about an honor-killing threat. And we chose,
Okay.
And so that's why Raji is actually a very common name in Thar. We saw that inspiration, and that's how we named her. And AuratRaaj itself comes inspired from another film from the 70s that Rangila made, which was really inspiring for me to watch.
Okay.
And I saw that and I was like, oh my God, at that time somebody was making content that was satirical in nature, and it was talking about women's rights at that time, and that was really inspiring. And I thought I would use that word.
So Raji is just a front where and who reaches into a content or a reservoir that you build with these experts and your mentors and advisors.
Yeah.
So it's very, very politically correct. It's very societally correct and appropriate.
Yes,
right?
And empathy is at the basis of our conversation. So every time you pose a question, this is why we're training the bot to be very empathetic, because we don't want
Good girl.
any judgment to be given while giving a conversation. Well, I'm making it hard for you. So judgment should not be given at any point during Raji's conversations, because a lot of girls don't ask questions because they fear that their mother or their friends or their parents might actually like make them feel bad about it.
So, when you talk about empathy, so Raji has a great deal of empathy. She doesn't judge, but obviously the way you have taken this Jenga piece apart is not leaving me with a lot of options. Okay, so it's primarily in English. Right
In
now.
English right now, yes.
What about? I mean, do you foresee it to be used by women in Urdu rather than type?
Yeah.
Because the web portion obviously is just something you have to type in.
Yeah.
But what about voice recognition? You know, all of those things.
So we're struggling with having any regional languages integrated within Raji, because not only does it not recognize Urdu words, because Roman Urdu is also with so many different spellings.
I fear this interview is going to soon come to an end.
That was the plan.
Yeah.
And so we plan to, our vision is to have regional languages, Urdu being primarily the one that we want to focus on.
Yeah.
But initially we want to kind of test our application in English first and see its overall usability, see what kind of interactions are coming, and that will set basically our direction in Urdu later on.
Okay.
But it will take some time.
So what happens when somebody types something on? Does it add to? Is it like a learning?
So it learns, but also because there's so much content you can build, it still leaves a lot of area that are unexplored and questions can come. So we kind of, in our application, you can speak to a human agent, and we're kind of directing them towards and asking them that I don't have the answer right now to this topic. Can I please refer you to a trusted human agent who can answer your question? And these human agents are psychologists that we have kind of partnered with. There are medical experts. So it's according to that person's own direction whether they want to go to a human agent or not.
Okay.
Maybe the conversation ends right there because she doesn't want to talk about it, but maybe she will get like the right information she needs from one of our experts.
And that would refer them to a helpline kind of situation.
Yes, initially a lot of times when it's time sensitive, it could be that she...
One hand only. Talk fast, Saba. Oh.
Yes!
Okay, so I'm just warning you now, from the time you place this, for 10 seconds, the tower has to hold. Okay, if it falls within the 10 seconds, then it's your bad.
I'm going to finish my thought very quickly. So human agents are an important part of the solution because artificial intelligence can only do so much. There's a lot that we need to build, and hopefully our humans will come to be our allies in this particular initiative.
Do you find that there's a taboo? Because obviously you're talking about harassment, you're talking about reproductive health, you're talking about issues which are traditionally very taboo in a conservative society. How do you encourage even the young women who are more fluent with technology to come on board and use these tools that are available to them?
So the young women that I'm working with, they're very, very they're activists in their own fields and they want to change, but to get girls to actually trust the app and get information from the app, we've kind of have another strategy, a marketing strategy with it, which is our animated episodes. With each episode about Raji that we publish, we talk about a specific topic, we educate girls on it, and then we kind of seed the idea that if you want information related to reproductive health or you need information regarding a threat that you've received, you can do it with the help of our chatbot. And I think when the application is live on the Play Store, that's when we'll really see what kind of people are coming on the application and what kind of questions they're asking. At this point, it's very hard to tell that what's going to be the overall excitement and overall use cases for this particular application.
So what is the end? What is the next step? Is it to appear as an app on the phones?
Yes.
Free download for
Free
people?
download, yes. So in a month's time, we release our app and we're really trying to get as many downloads as possible. I think.
Focus, Saba, focus.
So
one
that.
you can't do. The one
I'm
under
picking the
unfinished,
easy one.
Yes.
Okay.
So within a month.
Within a month, we have our app coming up, which will be in English, and it will answer certain topics that we've already outlined. It will also give us direction for the next topics we need to build, because that's very, very important for us. And then voice recognition and machine learning, we need to make Raji smarter.
Okay.
And the more interactions that come and the more human agents answer the questions, the smarter Raji gets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not being very smart right now. Okay. So, tell us about your team.
Yeah.
How big is your team? What did you start off with, and where are you right now?
So I started off with myself, and yeah, just me in my room typing things up, and but we quickly started building more content through freelancers. So we have like a permanent team, which is our tech team. We have a developer, we have an app developer, we have an animator and illustrator that we work with part-time on a freelance basis. And then we have our co-founder, Tino Han, who works out of Germany, who consults me, who mentors me. And we have great networks, and we have great networks. I have been associated with the Nest.io in Karachi, and Jahan has been one of my biggest supporters. Other than that, I recently attended the Do School, which is a social impact incubator based out of Berlin. And there I learned from 18 other entrepreneurs, and these entrepreneurs taught me how to use technology for impact and change. And every time I'm stuck, I kind of consult with them on different aspects of my business. I consult the Do School team whenever I require some help, and that's been great for me.
Oh my goodness. Leaning Tower of Pisa with news competition. So tell me, your background is as a journalist.
Yep.
What made you think of using technology tools for the outreach in this particular area?
Mm-hmm.
What inspired you to begin?
So writing has been very, very important for me. I've used it as a form of therapy for myself, and I've often seen good friends, and a good conversation can basically change your life. And having these mentors and having these conversations had such a great impact on me, and I realized that aspect of...
As in, you would write about these stories?
I would...
report these stories?
I would report these stories, I would tell... And the kind of marketing that women get when you tell their stories, and the kind of... for instance, some stories that I've told, the girls were able to get really good scholarships after that. These were emerging STEM women in STEM, and when we told their stories, they were able to really get more clients, get more scholarships, go abroad sometimes if that was their vision. And so I realized that writing and talking about women's stories is so crucial for change. And more than that, talking one-on-one with a woman can also have a great impact on her.
Do you have like glue stuff on this or something? I don't understand. It was supposed to have fallen. This interview was supposed to have ended.
Now you're out of questions, huh?
Never. No. So, you are not a... are you a sole proprietorship? Are you a business, or are you a single person?
So,
a sole proprietorship kind of thing?
So I am a sole proprietor because we actually, since our co-founder is based out of Germany, we didn't have an actual way to get him registered here as well as one of our founders, and he was in a mentoring capacity. But we're trying to actually register our company abroad, because a lot of the data that we're collecting is so sensitive that having that data stored here, and the kind of content that we're building and the data that we're going to be collecting is very, very needs a secure network. And so maybe our whole platform might be based or registered not out of Pakistan.
It's interesting. Even on your website, I think there are one or two men. Mm-hmm. Not to say that not that all men don't have the ability to have empathy in this area, but it's rare to see it's such a sensitive area.
Yeah.
So let's say the audience also feels like, oh my God, who's going to be looking at my data? What questions, and who's going to have what's my what are my privacy? What are my rights? So on and so forth.
Yeah.
Is it a problem for, let's say, sponsors or funding agencies that your co-founders?
No, not at all. Actually, it's been quite great because it shows that we're very balanced and we want both opinions from men and women. And and I think men who have been part of our team, a lot of men have actually said no to working on this project because it's too pink for them. They feel that it's just too much of like a women's. That's the end to the interview. Sorry.
What were you thinking?
So this is where I thought that I would tell you some really interesting stuff, and then I just ruined it all.
But you see, the lesson to learn here is your foundation has to be very strong for any business. So row number 1, 2, 3, third floor from the ground.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. There's nothing for the rest of the business to stand on.
That focus went away.
Where do you see yourself in the next 2 years?
I see myself having published a book about women's rights in Pakistan. I see myself as a TED speaker, inshallah, at least a local TED speaker, global maybe later in the next 5 years. I see myself working on a film. I really want to do a film project. Maybe it's going to be an animated documentary. Maybe it's going to be a long animated film. I haven't decided, but yeah, definitely in the media space.
Okay, and where do you see AuratRaaj in the next 2 years?
Hopefully the biggest feminist platform out of Pakistan. That's something that I really want to aspire to.
I know I said the interview would end when the building collapses, but I'm curious, have you looked, since you are registering AuratRaaj as a business outside of Pakistan, have you looked at expanding into
developing
globally, so it doesn't have to be the biggest platform?
So my focus has always been the developing countries, especially South Asia, because the problems are very similar, and having interacted with a lot of entrepreneurs based out of these countries, they all agree that these kind of solutions are needed, especially something like Raji. So, and the networks that we've set up, hopefully we'll be able to partner with them and give Raji like a wider reach. That's something that's been on my mind. Yeah.
Well, we wish you all the very best of luck.
Thank you so much.
And we certainly would love to see where you take Raji and all your other projects, and track your journey as an entrepreneur there also.
Great.
Yeah, maybe like people acknowledge us as Talking TV or TNS.
I hope so one day.
The woman behind
AuratRaaj.
So behind every successful business, there has to be a very successful woman.
Oh. I'm so happy to be here and just speaking to you guys.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
How can the community help you? What is the one thing that you need right
now? I think just test it for us. Give us a lot of user cases, because we don't know how people post questions. That's very important. So from all different angles, what kind of content for women is important, we'd love that. Other than that, we're already shortlisted for a lot of different accelerators, but we'd still want any grant opportunities, funding opportunities, because it's a big project, it will take some time. We'd love your mentorship. Where do you see us? Where can we go? How can you help us? Advice in all sorts of forms is appreciated. सब कुछ चाहिए.
So, all right. Again, we wish you all the very best of luck, and we certainly will keep an eye out for you as to where you take Raji.